Okay, another thing we could talk about for efficient buzz is how open the lips are. Now this is very much a balance of how much air you're using with how open you are. And you're going to find that if you're using more air, you got to open up more, and vice versa. One of the things that typically we run into is the standard whatever is that people start out with their lips a little bit too close together, especially younger players. And so my favorite way for doing this is set it up with the lips normal, and then go a little further apart, then a little further apart, and a little further apart. Like I call it sliding your lips, because you can feel it sliding across the rim of the mouthpiece. And as you slide your lips apart, your sound usually gets better and better and better and better. And eventually, like the second to last one doesn't sound any better, and you're losing control, like you have less control. And then eventually you can start hearing it, oh, that doesn't sound as good. And then you can either back it off a couple steps, or you just increase the air. Most of the time, or a mix of the two. So this is me starting. I'm going to start with my lips completely closed, and I'm going to try and create a buzz that's going to sound horrible. And then I'm going to open up just a teeny bit, and I'm going to sound like a beginner. Then I'm going to open up a little bit more, and I'm going to sound like an 8th grader, and a 9th grader, and a 10th grader. I'm going to get it sounds more mature as you go. But I'm going to start with the lips totally closed, and it's going to sound horrible. I don't know if you can see it sliding apart. Okay, so you could hear those last two started sounding worse. So that's the setup. You kind of try and figure out where's the ideal spot for how far apart your lips are. And again, this will not be just one specific spot, because if you're going to be playing a bunch of 3rd trumpet or 4th trumpet stuff and it's all low, you're going to have a more open set. If you're playing all lead stuff or 1st trumpet in an orchestral setting or a symphonic band, it's going to be a little bit closer together on the set. And so you're going to have to find the best spot for which range you're playing in. But generally speaking, as trumpet players, we tend to be too close together. Now the other half of this thing is something that you can change on the fly. So this one I had to change with a reset. So if I'm playing in the low area and then I'm going to go to the high, I'm going to slide my lips into a slightly different position. I'm going to have a high set. Now for the other half of the on the fly is just with a jaw. And I think people talk a little bit more about this one, and this one's gold. We need to talk about it. When anybody ever says play louder, people always say, educators will talk about more air, more air, more air. And that's true, we need to. But if we do more air without opening up, it's not helpful at all. You go sharp and it gets pinched. And so you always have to balance it with those two. For that one, I really like the exercise. It's the same kind of thing, where you play and you open, you open, you open, you open, and you find where's your best sound. And if you go past it, you back up, or you just add more air. Some people will do an exercise very similar to this, where you just go B. And a lot of times the goal on this one should be, when you go down, you're opening up, and when you come back up, you should try and listen for where's my best sound, and then you settle in that spot. Now, you're going to point out, well, you're playing flat now. Well, what's the solution? Okay, well, I'm going to push my slide in a little bit. And so now you're playing with a good sound, and you're playing in tune. But that is a necessary thing, and it's one of the things to think about. If you ever are, and I'm not talking like playing in 100-degree weather, 105-degree weather, where you got to pull out like a mile. I'm just talking in a normal circumstance. If you ever find yourself tuning and you're like super far out, either there's something wrong with your trumpet, or it's just that you're playing too much on the top pitch of the note, you're playing too closed, and if you open up, it'll get you a better sound, you'll get tired less quickly, and you're going to get the pitch down. So it's going to be less pinched, better sound. And at that point, you're going to get, okay, well, you got to pull in, you got to pull in, you got to pull in. And that's going to be a much better sound and better results overall.